more likely maybe to take what they can get, even if the working conditions are not ideal?
Well, we're in that dynamic, right? Kovini mentioned that South Africa has that challenge. Yeah, unemployment rate is high.
Mm.
Um, People get an opportunity and they have no choice. They'll take it, get lowballed, right? So all of those things are a reality. Um, but I think as I was listening to Kovini, which is very informative, and I'm learning a lot as well. But as I was thinking about workplace culture, um, one of the things we advise candidates when you know in the process, the hiring process. So we advise them actually to assess the hiring process, even through us. So what is the company doing, the hiring manager, the HR manager, how are they conveying themselves or displaying themselves, conveying the messaging, um, how are they reflecting their brand or their culture in that process, during that process, in the recruitment process. So what is the
Mm.
first interview like?
Yes.
What type of
Feedback.
conversations are they having? Um, yeah, what's the second interview like? What type the conversation? Are they bringing more people into the conversation at that point, or is it just still the one person
Right.
throughout the whole process? And sometimes that process can be, geez, 3, 4, 5 steps in before they make a hire, and you learn a lot in those conversations. So I think candidates, what we advise is to be very proactive and to be very aware of that process and learn that, okay, if they're taking if the hiring manager or the HR manager is taking too long to come back with feedback, for example, or they were very static in the conversation and not very friendly. Like, you can assess a lot of those things, but be proactive to ask the right questions. To ask, what is the company culture like? What are your values? Can I take a walk around the
I
shop
remember
floor?
I asked that
Right?
as well when, yeah.
Yeah, be proactive. And what I think one of the most important things, I remember somebody early on said to me, um, when I was going for interviews, was they said level the playing field in that conversation. So don't just respond to a question. Then it just becomes a Q&A.
Mm.
You have to now ask, right, um, Kovini, how long have you been in that position? How have you been
Yes. Yes.
enjoying
A
the company?
two-way conversation.
Exactly. And sometimes it stumps the person because they never expected it. But it levels the playing field. It makes it conversational.
Yeah.
And then you learn more that way than just being in a Q&A scenario.
Now, community, let's talk a little bit about governance here, right? Since we are on the topic of poor workplace conditions,
Right.
from that point of view, are we at risk of normalizing poor workplace conditions simply because unemployment pressure is so high in the country?
Look, from everyone that I mentor, there just seems to be a lot happening in the world. And there also seems to be a lot of, I want to say, shortcuts or bypassing
There you
certain
go.
rules. Um, yeah, it never used to be like this. I want to say 10 years ago, the market was a lot more open. You'd be sitting with 3 job offers and wondering which one to choose. But I think times have really shifted from a global perspective, which obviously, impacts South Africa. And I think, if you're able to secure a job now, like I say, take it. I would never tell anyone to refuse a job offer. And yeah, take it and see what you can do with it in 6 months. And if it's not something for you, at least you've gotten 6 months of experience, and together with your mentor or coach or labor lawyer as well, you can strategically plan a financial, I want to say, strategic exit. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, both both of you can weigh in now on this particular question, right? Because Adrian, I'm pretty sure you are receiving hundreds of CVs a day, right?
Yeah.
So how do we
More.
realistically over how do we realistically protect our dignity at work when many people feel that they cannot afford to say no to a job?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, it's difficult to say no to a job when you're unemployed
Yeah.
and you need the finances and you've got bills to pay, etc. Um, but as Kamini was mentioning, mentioned as well, like, weigh the options, go through the process. I would say, you've got nothing to lose by entering into the conversation in an interview.
Right.
At that point, you've got nothing to lose,
Yes.
and probably a lot more to gain. So, have the conversation, explore the opportunity if there's an interview, and then again level the playing field by having a two-way conversation rather than a Q&A session with that hiring manager.
Kabini, how do you think we can realistically protect dignity at work?
I think it is with us as employees to start to believe in ourselves a little bit more. There's a lot of negativity out there, and especially if you're in the job market, that doesn't serve you. So I took a bit of a career break for 6 months a while back, and going onto LinkedIn was probably one of the worst things I could do for myself, because all I would see is everyone getting hired, congratulation emails,
Oh
and
man, yeah,
it wasn't, I want to say,
motivating.
motivating
Yeah.
me to want to go there, because it would just seem like everyone else was
Winning.
bagging these amazing jobs. Because I think we know that on LinkedIn, people just want to share the most amazing highlights of their life, and everything is awesome, and they've fallen down a flight of stairs, but this is what it's taught them. So it very much is a very positive spin on everything. But in terms of my voice, I've chosen to keep things very real, to keep things very honest. And I think for me, the lesson that I learned is that, even if you've got to take a bit of a career break, or you're still looking for a job, for those that are job hunting, is to just try and stay away from negative comments, negative people that will poison your thought process and say, no one can get a job, which often means they can't. So,
Most of the time.
most of the time they can't, so it means you can't. So I think for me, it was very important in those 6 months to just, stay to myself, reset, re-energize, and come back to the job market and put the best version of myself out there.
You were lucky, Kabini, that you could afford to take that 6-month career break, right? Some people may not be so lucky to do that because they are stuck in a job that they don't like. So what they're doing is that they are quietly looking for better opportunities while still remaining employed where they are. So Adrian, what's your advice for somebody like that who's employed but quietly, looking for another
That's the reality, right? And,
Yeah.
and we have those conversations as well, like daily, where somebody will say, I started this job in January, but it's not really going as well as I thought it would. So can you keep an eye out for me? can you keep my CV on file and let me know when a suitable opportunity comes the way. So people are quietly resigning, as it were, and looking for other opportunities. It's a tough situation when there's no way out, or the finances are obviously important, and they have commitments, and they have to stay there. But again, it is mindset, and I don't want to just, like you say, just put a positive spin to it. But the reality is, you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you stay in that negativity, or stay in this cynical view that this is not going to change, or never going to change, or whatever the case may be. And I'm all about quotes this evening for some reason, but I'm thinking about Gandhi's quote where he says, "Be the change you want to be." And again, kind of be the change you want to see in the world. Again, it's kind of a positive spin, but you're in control, so you have full agency of yourself. We often say in the office that you can't control your environment, you can't control anything external. You can only control
Yes.
yourself in that given situation.
Correct. Now, of course, that conversation there brings us to the end of today's show. But before that, I would like to ask both of my guests in studio today for their best advice for somebody who is, out there looking for a job as well. So, what is one practical step every job seeker or employee can take today to immediately improve their employability or their working conditions, with your message of advice?
Okay, I'll go first. All the jobs that I've had in the past, Deloitte and Accenture being the highlights of my career, I was able to find on LinkedIn. So it is very important for you to have a proper LinkedIn profile, a professional profile picture. And nothing stops you. LinkedIn is not like Facebook. Nothing stops you from connecting with someone that works in your dream company and starting to build your network very slowly, because the day you need it, the day you need to put that open to work banner, which by the way, I hold no shame for doing. It is a way to put your brand out there, and it is a way for you to be seen and recognized. And often it is a way out of a particular environment, hopefully, to something better. So that's also what I coach and mentor on in terms of how to build a brand online.
Adrian,
That's
you?
very important. I think, yeah, I've spoken a lot about LinkedIn already, but that just that on that point about open to work, it actually affects the algorithm, and what that does when you change that status to open to work, it gets you up the listing, as it were, to recruiters or employers, or people who are looking. So it shows up on the rankings. So do that definitely, and then going back to mindset again. Have that positive mindset, have that growth mindset. Sort of set yourself that I'm learning something regardless in the situation, and I have full control of me and my thoughts. And try your, obviously, have those positive conversations. Look for advice through Kovini, mentors, coaches, and continually stay in that positive mindset. I would say, and if the position is not, or the company is not for you, look for ways to upskill, look for ways to just develop yourself and gain that skill, and then you can move on from there. But take every opportunity as a learning opportunity, I would say.
That is great pieces of advice coming through from our both guests joining us live in studio today here on Lotus FM. That was, of course, Adrian and Kovini, Adrian Pillay and Kovini Mudli joining us. So thank you very much for joining us on the show. Did you guys enjoy the experience?
Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
It
Thank
was
you.
great being here, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Can I make a shameless plug very quickly?
Sure.
So Pro Talent was voted Best of Durban, Best Employment Agency Durban 2025, and we're being nominated again this year, and we hope to win. So feel free, listeners, to get on our LinkedIn page and vote for us.
Great. Thank you very much to the both of you. And of course, thanks to producer Bianca Lal Bahadur for putting this show together. I will catch you on another edition of Talk at 7 tomorrow from 7 to 9 p.m. So, from me, Rivash Soni Devnaran, have yourself a beautiful night. Goodbye.
Thank you very